Here's your wrestling news for November 7th, 2025. Your headlines for today include GoFundMe launch for released WWE star Ridge Holland, AEW and WWE stars donate. Will WWE take action against Chelsea Green and Omos after the recent gesture? WWE makes example out of star, sends major message to locker room. Rhodes responds to criticism blaming him for WWE's recent struggles. Bianca Belair's WWE return timeline finally revealed after brutal finger injury. Reports claim Triple H's WWE leadership is driven by internet validation. AEW's TV ratings hit by new Nielsen system, struggling to stay in top 20, and more. Ridge Holland's release from WWE has become one of the most polarizing stories of the year, and now it's turned into something much bigger than just a contract termination. The 36-year-old former SmackDown star, whose real name is Luke Menzies, was reportedly let go ahead of schedule after publicly calling out WWE for refusing to pay him during his recovery from a career-threatening neck injury. His deal was supposed to run until mid-November, but sources confirmed the company cut ties early, allegedly viewing his public criticism as a breach of contract. The controversy began when Holland took to social media to share his struggles, revealing that he had gone unpaid while recovering from an in-ring injury sustained while he was performing for WWE. His heartfelt post, describing how he feared losing his home and couldn't pay his mortgage, struck a nerve with fans and wrestlers alike. In the wake of his release, a GoFundMe campaign was launched to support Holland, his wife, and their 3 children through what's become an emotionally and financially devastating time. The fundraiser, organized by Susan Chapman of St. Cloud, Florida, aims to raise $60,000 to help the family stay afloat, while Holland prepares for neck fusion surgery later this month and another operation already scheduled for March 2026. The campaign's description pulls no punches: a hardworking husband, a devoted wife, 3 beautiful children, and a devastating injury that threatens to take it all away. It goes on to explain that because Holland was classified as a 1099 contractor, he's not eligible for workers' compensation, paid medical leave, or post-release support from WWE. The post adds that his family has already suffered a 55% pay cut since his 2024 re-signing and is now facing the real possibility of losing their home. They're at risk of losing their home, of falling into debt they may never escape, of having their kids face a holiday season filled with fear and uncertainty rather than joy. Despite the grim situation, the wrestling community has stepped up in a big way. Chelsea Green and Omos have reportedly committed to paying $1,000 every month, while others such as Nick Jackson, Kyle Fletcher, and Jinder Mahal have also donated $1,000 each. Their generosity has become one of the few bright spots in an otherwise heartbreaking story. According to Brian Alvarez of F4W Online, WWE's decision to terminate Holland's deal wasn't just about ending his contract, it was about sending a message to the locker room: any talent who publicly criticizes the company could face immediate consequences, even if they're injured. As the wrestling community rallies around Ridge Holland and his family, one can only hope that WWE management won't hold grudges against those lending their support, because at the end of the day, this is about helping a performer who sacrificed his body for the business. What's your take on WWE's handling of Ridge Holland's situation? Do you think releasing him to send a message to the rest of the locker room was a right move, or did the company go too far? Share your thoughts and reactions in the comments below. Cody Rhodes continues to be one of WWE's most visible stars, but when business dips, his name is often the first dragged into the conversation. Now his sister Teal Rhodes has stepped in to defend him publicly. The situation began after a fan on social media mocked the way people selectively credit or criticize Cody based on WWE's financial results. The post took aim at the inconsistency in how fans talk about him online, saying, "Ooh, when it comes to profitable, it's because of Cody Rhodes, but then loss-making, then it's nothing to do with Cody. What the f***?" Teal wasn't about to let that narrative slide. She fired back with a sharp response highlighting how the Rhodes family has faced similar criticism for generations. Only Rhodes are responsible for all wrestling downturns, but never credited for its booms or actual all-time gates. Okay, guys. Her comment quickly caught traction, resonating with fans who have followed the Rhodes family legacy. From Dusty to Dustin to Cody, the Rhodes name has always carried both immense respect and intense scrutiny within the industry. The timing of Teal's defense also raised eyebrows. Reports recently surfaced of internal frustration within WWE over slower ticket sales for Friday Night SmackDown and Saturday night's main event in Salt Lake City. While such fluctuations are normal in the live events business, Teal clarifies that some corners of the internet were quick to point fingers at Cody simply because he's the face of the company. What makes this moment stand out is that Teal's response wasn't just about defending her brother, it was her way of reminding everyone that Cody is still excelling where it truly counts, in merchandise sales, crowd reactions, and his consistency as a main event performer. Do you think Cody Rhodes is unfairly blamed when WWE's numbers dip, or does the top face always carry that burden? Share your thoughts in the comments below. Enjoying the video? A quick like goes a long way in helping us grow and deliver more wrestling news you care about. Since being sidelined since WrestleMania 41, new reports suggest that WWE's EST may be nearing her long-awaited comeback. According to Bodyslam.net, internal WWE sources believe Bianca Belair could be making her return as soon as the 2026 Royal Rumble, and there's even growing optimism that she might be cleared earlier than expected. Belair's injury occurred during the now infamous triple threat match against Rhea Ripley and Io Sky at WrestleMania. The moment came during a high-risk top-rope German suplex spot that went wrong, leaving Belair with multiple broken fingers, far from a routine fracture. As Belair later explained in detail, the accident happened due to a mistimed landing that trapped her hand beneath Rhea Ripley's body weight. It was when we were doing the triple German spot. My hand got stuck underneath Rhea. Also, I went to the wrong side of Rhea, but my hand, I thought she was gonna go further over me. We just kinda collapsed together. So when my hand went back, it got stuck under her, and she literally crashed on my hand. In her own words, the pain was instant and excruciating as the entire weight of Ripley's body came down on her hand. The spot not only ended her match prematurely, but also forced her off television entirely. Since then, Belair's recovery has been slower than initially expected, with multiple setbacks along the way. The extent of her injury made even light physical training difficult, as WWE doctors prioritized long-term healing over a rushed return. But now, for the first time in months, there's legitimate optimism inside WWE. Reports indicate that Belair has made major progress in rehab, and barring any complications, she could resume in-ring training before the end of the year. That timeline puts her in prime position for a dramatic Royal Rumble 2026 return, or even a surprise comeback beforehand if everything continues smoothly. Given how central she's been to WWE's women's division over the last few years, Belair's return could shake up the entire roster heading into WrestleMania season. Would you bring Bianca Belair straight back into the championship scene against names like Jade Cargill or Rhea Ripley, or would you build her up with a fresh storyline first? Share your booking ideas in the comments. How would you reintroduce the EST of WWE to the spotlight? AEW's championship scene just got bigger, but not everyone thinks that's a good thing. During Busted Open After Dark, wrestling veteran Tommy Dreamer shared his candid thoughts on AEW's newly announced National Championship, a title that has sparked heated debate among fans and insiders since its reveal. While AEW President Tony Khan presented the championship as a nod to wrestling history, Dreamer questioned whether the company might be crossing the line from prestige into oversaturation. Dreamer began by addressing the confusion surrounding the belt's name, pointing out that another promotion already uses a similar title. At first also, I thought the NWA had a national title. They do, but this is going to be AEW's version of the national title and, it's on TBS. However, the real heart of his comments came when Dreamer turned to the question that's been on many fans' minds: does AEW actually need another championship? Do you think adding another title helps or hurts? Really, it's just about the credibility of the title. If everybody has a title, then what am I really fighting for? For Dreamer, the issue isn't the belt itself, it's what it represents. He explained that wrestling once had a clear and effective structure, a world title that defined the top star, a mid-card championship that elevated rising names, and tag titles that showcased teamwork and division depth. Those distinctions gave championships real meaning. Now AEW's title scene includes the World Championship, TNT Championship, Tag titles, Trios titles, Undisputed Continental Championship, Women's Championships, and now the National Championship, a lineup that risks diluting the value of each belt if not handled carefully. Dreamer emphasized that every championship needs a unique identity and purpose, not just another piece of gold to hand out. Without proper booking and long-term storytelling, he warned, a new belt could lose prestige before it even gains traction. In Dreamer's view, AEW's latest move isn't necessarily a mistake, but it is a creative gamble. If the company can give the national championship strong direction, credible winners, and meaningful rivalries, it could work. But if not, it might only add more clutter to an already crowded landscape. Do you think AEW is starting to water down its titles with too many belts, or can the national championship carve out its own identity? Share your thoughts in the comments below. Triple H is once again at the center of fan debate, this time not because of a storyline or creative call, but because of how he's running WWE behind the scenes. Over the last 16 hours, hashtag Triple H has been trending across social media thanks to a controversial former WWE writer, Vince Russo. Now, before you close this segment out or move on to the next news story, we are aware that Russo's comments are usually taken with a grain of salt, but this time things seem different. His latest remarks about Triple H have struck a chord with wrestling fans, many of whom surprisingly agree with him. According to Russo, WWE's backstage culture has shifted dramatically under Triple H's watch, and not in a way he believes helps the company. He described the environment as resembling kindergarten, claiming Triple H spends more time comforting talent than leading with authority. Russo even pointed to a moment from the WWE Unreal docuseries involving Charlotte Flair and Tiffany Stratton, who reportedly went off script during a match. He said Triple H appeared unsure whether the situation was real or part of the show. Triple H is sitting there at the gorilla position. Was that scripted? Was that scripted? He didn't even know if that was a shoot or not. Then they come back and smarten him up. Triple H says, "Well, you go tell Tiffy that she needs to apologize. No, Trips, you need to go tell Tiffy." Russo then drew a direct comparison to Vince McMahon, arguing that the difference in leadership styles couldn't be more obvious. Bro, if that's Vince McMahon, the headsets are getting thrown on the table and he's telling the agent, "Bring Tiffany's over here right now." Vince McMahon wasn't worried about being freaking liked. He claimed that Triple H's desire to stay on everyone's good side is what's holding him back as a leader, and even accused him of booking with the internet's approval in mind. Triple H, he's got this thing about being liked. I've been told by somebody, a talent at a high level, who told me the love of the freaking internet means everything to Triple H. That's why he brought in Joe Hendry at freaking WrestleMania. That's so important to him. And bro, you cannot be in that spot and want to be liked. So what's your take? Do you think Vince Russo is right? Has Triple H gone soft as a leader, or is he simply evolving WWE for a new generation of talent and fans? Share your thoughts in the comments below. AEW's TV numbers have hit a dangerous new low, and insiders say it's more than just a bad week. Once considered a consistent cable powerhouse, AEW is now struggling to stay relevant in the weekly ratings. The October 25th episode of AEW Collision brought in just 217,000 viewers with a 0.03 rating, tying its all-time record low. According to Brian Alvarez of F4W Online, the company's decline isn't just about competition, it's part of a financial problem that's been building for months. Alvarez noted that while the Collision episode faced tough competition from WWE programming in Game 7 of the World Series, those numbers are still terrible for a national wrestling show that once ranked near the top of cable entertainment. He explained that just a couple of years ago, AEW was regularly outperforming major reality TV shows and holding steady as one of the most watched entertainment programs on Wednesdays. Alvarez broke down the dramatic drop. In 2023, they were the number 2 entertainment show behind Raw. In 2024, they were number 3. This year, 2025, they're number 20, and that's just based on partial data. The full picture might be even worse. The biggest culprit, Alvarez said, is a new Nielsen's rating system introduced in September that's drastically reshaping how viewership is measured, especially among the all-important 18 to 49 demographic. In plain terms, this change has gutted the numbers that matter most to advertisers. Alvarez explained that networks sell ad space based on how many viewers fall into that 18 to 49 range, and under the new system, those figures have dropped by 30 to 40% across the board. This isn't a small story, Alvarez warned. This is a gigantic story. These drops mean serious money lost from advertisers, and that affects how valuable these shows are seen by the network. The timing couldn't be worse for AEW. If their media rights were up for renewal today instead of last year, Alvarez believes the company would be looking at far smaller offers, perhaps even struggling to justify the current deals that keep Dynamite and Collision on the air. For a promotion that once positioned itself as WWE's biggest competitor, AEW now faces an uphill battle to stay profitable in a changing media landscape. Loyal fans are still tuning in, but the overall audience is shrinking, and fast. Do you think AEW's ratings crash is just bad timing, or proof that the company needs to rethink its entire TV strategy? Should Tony Khan focus more on streaming platforms instead of cable? Share your thoughts in the comments below. Don't miss our next video coming at 5:30 p.m. Eastern with all the latest wrestling updates. Smash that bell icon and select all notifications so you're always in the loop.